You're going to put the pre-wrap on, you're going to put the tape on. Again, this probably needs to be just a little bit higher, but his sweatshirt gives a false impression of how long his arm is. It's going to look wrinkly because you had him flex the full muscle width when you went to put it on. And then you're going to put a fan to limit hyperextension. So you can do the same thing in a knee, so that this would be the back of the knee. Again, you need to make sure that fan, and this is going to be a fan that limits the end range of motion, doesn't rub in that area. So you're going to figure out how long your fan's going to be, and then use at least 3, probably 5. Depending on the strength, you could use 7. So if you've got a big lineman, you might want to use 7 strips to hold it pretty well. Again, if you don't do it to the skin, it's not going to stay, especially the stronger they are. So I went center, left, right, left, right. That's how many pieces that I used. Be careful picking up your fan. You're going to position him so that it's slightly bent. His palm is up. You're going to try and limit how much he can straighten it. Is that how much? Yes. I would say about a 20-degree angle on the arm. Exaggerate how much he can straighten it a little bit. So it should look like it's pretty bent, but I promise you that when I tape this on there, he's going to be able to straighten it more than what it looks like right now. So you're going to lay your pieces down, overlapping your tape halfway. So I just used 3 pieces on this side. And I'm going to ask him to flex and put the other halves on. He's flexing nice and tight. Okay, check. Is that what you want? Yep. All right, so we're going to put the other end on. I'm going to go to the skin just to be really nice to Daniel. You see how I'm using at least 3 on there because it's going to slide. Don't flex yet. Alright, now I'm going to ask him to flex nice and big, if he can get it nice and big, and then lay it on there and relax. Now, this is flapping and the wind's going to be a little bit of a problem. You can make your fan stronger by rolling your edges in just a little bit like this and give it a seam, because you'll know from trying to learn to tear tape, if the edge is muddled, you can't rip it, so it'll give a little integrity to it. But you need to have some kind of lubricant in here because you can't have that rubbing the area, and then you can't leave this hanging in the wind. So you're going to have to close it with some elastic tape or an ace wrap so that it stays in place. So you can close it with some stuff like this. If you have it, it can be this is more expensive because it doesn't have any adhesive on it, but you want to leave the back of the elbow open. If you cover the back of the elbow when you put this on, it's going to affect their ability to move as they need to in their sport activity. That's not completely done yet, I would say. You need to come back around with the tape going in this direction and finish closing it off. Okay, and I taped his skin up here but not down here, but this is more cone shape. So when you ask him to actively straighten his arm, you see how much straighter it is than when I put it on there, but it should not allow him to straighten his elbow completely, and that'll help keep him from hyperextension. But because it's not to the skin, it's not as tight as you would like it to be. So he shouldn't be able to straighten his arm more than this, but you can't tape him so that his arm can't straighten more than this, because that's too much. It's not functional for sport. But you do need to err to the side of a little bit too much because it will slip and give a little bit. Okay, so that's how you do elbow hyperextension. You can translate into knee hyperextension, but the thighs are much bigger to practice taping on, so I choose to practice taping the elbow. Okay, so